Welcome in, second cousins, Orlando Magic fans, NBA fans out there, to Court Cousins, the Orlando Magic Draft Special. I am very pleased to be joined by the one, the only, Raf. What is up, homie?
What's up, buddy? It's great to be on, man. It's been a good year so far, man. Glad to be on the show, man. How's it going?
Lots of things to talk about. I know we want to talk about Desmond Bane and the excitement going this season, but we got to stay laser focused, Raf. We're draft, and I've brought you in because of all the second cousins out there in the community. Raf is the guy that always has his ear to the ground with these college prospects. And you might be thinking out there, ladies and gentlemen, the number 25 pick, what does it matter? Well, the Oklahoma City Thunder just won the NBA Finals last night. They had a guy named Isaiah Hartenstein starting for them, pick number 43 in the 2017 draft. On the other side, Andrew Nembhard, second-round pick, number 31 in the 2022 draft. Oh, yeah, and then Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and TJ McConnell were all undrafted guys. So there are key players here at 25 that are especially important, I think, for us as we look to guys to fill the roster with meaningful minutes, considering that our top four guys are making a boatload of money. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go over some of the largest news outlets, ESPN, Yahoo, The Ringer, Tankathon. We're going to look at who they said the Magic were going to draft. We're going to look at some videos. So this will be non-monetized, so make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you can, just like Raf did recently, you could join on the YouTube, you could join on the Patreon. All that stuff is appreciated and welcome. But just thank you so much for being here. So Raf, you ready to get into the first one? This is the ESPN mock draft.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so here we go. So ESPN has us drafting Maxi Renault. I don't know if he's French. I'm just going to pronounce it like that. The 22-year-old, 7'1" senior. He's a power forward center from Stanford. He had a 4-year career. He was averaging 20, 10.5, and 1.7 there at Stanford in his senior year. His three-point shooting was a little up and down, inconsistent, but 34.7% for his career. He's a big boy. So he's bodying these smaller players. I'm not sure that's going to be there for him in the NBA, where guys are just going to be more athletic. He doesn't have a lot of bounce, but he does seem to kind of use the body well and knows how to get to his shots, because he's definitely not jumping off the screen with his physical traits. But I don't watch the games, so tell me how I'm wrong, Stanford fans. Maybe this guy is amazing. I think if we're projecting him, and maybe why ESPN thought this would be good for us, is we could definitely use some center depth, Raf. And with our guys, Paulo and Franz, loving to operate in the painted area, maybe the hope is that this guy can step out and become a legitimate three-point shooting center.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Max. I mean, you were right on part of it. He is French. He is French.
May we?
There's a handful of French guys in this draft. I mean, obviously they got a lot of attention with Wemby coming out.
Yeah.
Maxime's not a bad player. I mean, he gives me kind of this Brook Lopez kind of vibe. You know what I mean? To where he can kind of pick and pop. He is, obviously you can see, I would say he's athletic. I wouldn't say he's like a huge athlete.
Yeah.
So if that's the direction that we're trying to go, I mean, I could see him fitting that. You know what I mean? He's gonna stretch the floor a little bit. He's gonna keep the defensive honest. As we try to, expand our offense a bit more. I would say that if that's what the Magic are looking for, if we're looking to kind of see, I don't know what's going to happen with Mo. And either way, I don't know if he's going to come back right away, even if we do re-sign him. So we do need a little bit of depth in the center.
You're talking about Moritz. I thought you were talking about Coach for a second.
Oh yeah, no, Moritz. Yeah, after that, what was it? His not his Achilles, but the ACL.
Yep.
We don't know when he's going to come back, so we still need a little bit of depth in there. And I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad if we picked him up as like our third string and see if he figures it out. So I wouldn't say he's not my pick, but I wouldn't say he's a bad pick. So if we're looking for that kind of player, so he's solid.
That's what ESPN said, so we'll just leave it there. Let us know what you think about Maxime Renault in the comments. The next guy, this one is from Yahoo Sports. I've seen this one a little bit more around in the Magic community. This is Rashard Fleming. And Fleming is a 6'9", 20-year-old junior forward from St. Joseph's. And, that's not great competition. That's the Atlantic 10. So that's my first question mark about it. He had 14.5 points, 8.5 boards, 1.3 assists in his career. He's a career 35% shooter from college, from beyond the arc. But he improved every year. Whereas Maxine, the last guy we looked at, he was kind of up and down, had a good year, then a bad year, then a good year. This guy has steadily improved his three-point shooting every year up to a 39% clip in his senior year. 6'9", 240. It sounds like kind of what we already have a lot of in terms of wings. Like, those are our two best players in Paulo and Franz. But there are other guys who we don't still have that genuine backup wing yet. We've got a lot of potentials. Caleb Houston, Tristan da Silva, Jet Howard, AB, if you want to even consider him a wing that handles the ball. These guys are all good, but no one really has stepped up, especially between Caleb, Tristan da Silva, Jet Howard. So maybe the Magic are thinking, hey, this guy is talented. He could be that guy that actually ends up claiming the spot. He's got some defensive dog in him, and that we really enjoy that. If he can become a legit 3-and-D type of guy in the NBA, might be a good pick for us. What are you thinking on Rashard Fleming?
I mean, I like Rashard Fleming. I mean, I'm really high on him. He gives me a Jonathan Kuminga kind of feel. The way he plays the game. He's super athletic, obviously, as you can see. Great second jump. Just an athlete, and definitely has that 3-and-D potential. Not the best shooter, a little streaky shooting. He lacks playmaking, which that's something else that we're really looking for. He doesn't really, you don't see him distribute the ball a lot. But you hit it right on the head when you said there's a lot of guys that are similar to that. Are you going to get minutes from Tristan da Silva? Is he going to step up, or is Jet going to step up, or what are we doing about Caleb Houston? So,
right.
But again, at 25, you got to look. The Magic. We don't know if we're drafting for fit, or if we're drafting for potential. So again, not us. I wouldn't be mad about that pick at all. I would say, okay, we're going to stash him, and we're going to see what he does. Play him a lot in the G League probably. So we'll see. But high motor, I like him. I do like him, but I don't know if he's a great fit for us.
Yeah, that is a good question to have, especially at the 25 pick. It's like fit or best player available when you're drafting there. All right, let's go on to the last of the big outlets. This one, the Ringer and Tankathon. And Magic fans out there, especially you down in Central Florida, are going to enjoy this one. This is the guy that I think a lot of Magic fans are hoping falls at 25, and that is Walter Clayton Jr. I probably don't need to go through all this, but I will. 6'2", 4-year senior guard from Florida. The late game heroics that we all witnessed in Florida going to the national championship. That he's got some huevos on him, this guy. 38.6% from three in college. He averaged 18, 3.5, and 4.2 assists on 44.8% from the field. He's definitely got some sizzle, man.
Man.
He's not a big guy, but he has all that, the handle, the change of speed and direction to get to his spots. And just because he's small, he will still throw down on people's heads. So his assist-to-turnover ratio was not great, but also not horrible. Like you just said, if we're looking for a little bit of playmaking and some scoring, maybe Walter Clayton Jr. turns into what we hoped Cole Anthony might be.
Yeah, that's a great comparison there, because that's what I thought was like.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the guy. I mean, he's an athlete. He's everything you want, in a guard. No fear. Shoots the ball. I think he was shooting almost 39% in college. I mean, he led the team, to the national championship, and that's what you want. You want a winner too. So he's a great player. My question is, he had a lot of room in Florida. He had a lot of time in Florida. He had the ball. He had the ball the whole game. He had the green light.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys in front of him. So, is he going to be patient and wait that out to get opportunities to really put on what he can? Is that going to make him aggressive? Is he going to have to change his game up a little bit because he is small? I mean, so was Cole. There's only a handful of guys. There's only a handful of guys that make it in the NBA when you're not over 6'2", 6'1.5".
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Again, I do like him. I think that he would be a great player for Orlando. I think that, it could work out. But how much run are you going to get? But I think he would be, just a note, I think he would pair well with Anthony Black on the floor.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Black would certainly make up for those height deficiencies and some of the defensive liability there. And we do need another point guard, whether that's going to come on the open market or maybe in the draft. It'll be interesting to see what the front office is thinking on that one. Okay, so
that's a good point. What do we do with the guard situation? Are we drafting or are we buying? So
yeah, I mean, we're doing this segment under the presumption that they are going to use this number 25 overall pick, but who knows? There could be some fireworks this draft night. I'm very much excited for Wednesday, and I hope you all are too. All right, so those were what the major outlets think the Orlando Magic are going to do. Raph, I know you had some other ideas. Who else do you have your eye on that you think or hope might drop to our Orlando Magic?
Well, I understand why people like Walter Clayton, but I also look at the Magic as how do we like to draft? We like bigger guys. So I look at a guy like Cam Jones, who's 6'6", out of Marquette, can score the ball, had almost the same exact statistics as Walter Clayton. Almost 19 points a game, 39% from three. He's a guard. He's a playmaker. I don't love his, he is a bit of an athlete. I don't love his speed necessarily. I mean, he's got that herky-jerky kind of movements, kind of Markel. So again, if we're looking in that guard position, I like him because he's a bit bigger. Now we're looking at a 6'6" guard, not a 6'2" guard that can do the same things as Walter Clayton. So as much as, I'm a Florida guy, and as much as I would love to get Walter Clayton on the team, if Cam fell, I would not be mad about that. And he gives me that kind of, Case and kind of Wallace kind of feel almost, but he's a little bit bigger, so a steady guard and a guy that I think can make the same kind of impact as a Walter Clayton. Walter Clayton probably has a bigger ceiling, but I like this guy as a 25th pick for the Magic that we're willing to wait on, and he's willing to be patient. So.
Yeah, definitely seems versatile at that 6'5", 6'6". I wonder what his wingspan is. That could seal the deal. If he's got, a 6'9" wingspan, Weltman might not be able to help himself and get him to Orlando.
And to put him in the backcourt, I think it's another, addition. It's not going to hurt us on defense, and he would be a steady guard at the 5 on the second squad.
Yeah. That's definitely going to be a position of need. I mean, when I'm looking at these guys, it is that kind of finishing out the guard rotation, and then, as you said, some big depth, especially with Moritz not coming back till probably around Christmas, and me not being in love with WCJ and JI still playing 15 minutes, 17 minutes a game. So those are the positions I think of need if we were to draft for need. And do you have some big men that we can talk about, or do you want to go with your other guard first and then we can go to big men?
We'll hit just because we have talked about him and I've seen him in mocks is the Liam McNeely.
Okay, I mean, let's stay guard.
He's a guard, another guard. He screams out, kind of Corey Crispert, baby Franzi kind of style. But again, he had the green light, at UConn, but it's a great program. I mean, but is he going to be able to play this way, in the NBA, behind us? But another solid guard, can score the ball, no fear, not afraid of the moment, not afraid of the shot, So again, I like him if he was to fall at 25 too. A lot of these players, I like them all, but it's real dependent on if they're gonna fit, and if he's obviously not going to have the green light, and he's obviously not going to have more than maybe how many minutes is this player at 25 carving out? 12, 14, 15?
That's a good thing. I mean, assuming Jet Howard doesn't get any, if we're going off of last year's numbers. So it's going to be tough.
Some of these guys, they need rhythm. These scorers are rhythm shooters. So are they going to be able to adjust to not having the ball in their hands? Any of these guards that we go to pick, more than 15 minutes a game. We'll see. There is one more big.
Well, wait, hold on now. I'm a UConn guy. I'm here in Connecticut, Bridgeport, baby. And so I did watch myself a little Liam McNeely. All right.
What do you think?
Well, 6'7" freshman. He's younger than Cam Jones, who we just talked about. And Cam Jones, I don't think Liam McNeely is going to be there at 25. Cam Jones more likely. I think I saw him projected more towards the end of the first round. But if Liam McNeely's there, I did like what I saw from him in the tournament. He definitely was the steadying hand at UConn. UConn didn't have that championship season again this year, but they definitely were going to him to get things organized, but he did work well off the ball. I saw him like running off of screens a lot. He's active. He's active on defense too. He averaged 16 points, 6.5 boards, and 2.5 assists. So 6.5 boards for a guard. You can tell that he's got some of that Cole Anthony in him. He's going after loose balls, and I like to see that. He only shot 31.7% from three. So his counting numbers weren't good, but I think he has some of that ball handling and creation that could be really helpful to fill out the guard rotation. I think any of these guards we're talking about are going to be kind of break glass in case of emergency if Jalen Suggs and Anthony Black and Desmond Bane, because those guys are probably going to be doing the majority of the point guard work for both units. And then, of course, Paulo and Franz are getting the majority of the touches working with the ball too. So I like Liam McNeely. He's got some stones on him. I saw that in the tournament. I'm just not sure if the shooting is good enough for the NBA, but hey, I wouldn't mind that as a UConn guy.
Yeah, he's not bad. Like I said, I think it just depended on how much minutes they're going to play, and can they get on the floor and can they play meaningful NBA basketball? That's going to be the question.
All right, so those are some of the guards. Let's talk about two more guys, I think, or maybe three more guys. Some bigs that you potentially think could be there for us.
I mean, there's Ryan Kalkbrenner out of Creighton. I think I've seen him around 25. Big guy, 7'1", but he's a traditional center. He's a rim protector. He's going to be an anchor on defense on the second squad. That's for sure. So he kind of gives you the Goga feel. He can shoot a little bit.
34.4% from three.
The lateral movement, that's a question. You know what I mean? Is he going to be able to get out? Is he going to be able to switch? And again, if you want a big guy to hold the paint down, you know what I mean? I think he's a good, solid pick. But again, it's more about he can defend inside, but you know how this NBA is positionless. What's going to happen when you get out there with a Miles Turner or an Anthony Davis? You're going to be able to defend at that level. So that's the only question I have about him, but I do like him as a center.
Yeah, and that's a really fair question considering that Jamal Mosley's defense is based upon switching. And I don't know if Kalkbrenner would be able to do that. He's more a la Nikola Vucevic, who would do well in, drop defenses, but that's not what we run here. So it's tough to see us taking – this is more of an offensive guy. He dropped almost 20 points a game on 9 boards in college, shot 65.5% from the field, so he's pretty efficient with his spots. 3-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. So like you said, he can guard the paint. I just don't know if it works within the scheme that Coach Mosley likes to run. He definitely could fit as a backup center. The idea of these stretch bigs is definitely sexy to pair alongside some minutes with our guys who like to operate in the paint. But I don't know. I just don't see him stepping out to the three-point line a lot in his rookie year. So can he develop it? Maybe, but I don't know. I wouldn't be super jazzed if we ended up with Kalkbrenner.
He does kind of look – he does play a little similar to Mo too, big brother Mo, in a way. So, again, it just also depends on what the overall plan is for the team. But, I could see him, again, if Mo's out, in one way or another, I could see him fitting in a lot of G League time. And again, you kind of have to work on that lateral movement and stuff if you're going to get out there with some of those, quicker bigs and whatnot. But again, solid player. All
right. Well, let's talk about the one that we're going to draft because he goes to Michigan. It's Danny Wolf, right? We need another Wolverine, right?
We do. And that's the only reason why he's the dark horse on here, Danny Wolf.
Yeah.
He's a stretch big, He's got great passing IQ. He can spread the floor. He's going to keep the ball moving. Think about like a really big, Joe Ingles, you know what I mean? Someone like that. So yeah, he's a smart player, great basketball IQ, comes with a great program that obviously the Orlando Magic love. And he's not going to be, a huge liability, on defense. He's a big guy. And again, if you're looking to stretch the floor, if we're looking to, keep the floor spread as possible in the second unit, I could see where he could maybe wedge in there, depending on Mo. But yeah, he's a dark horse because he played for Michigan, that's for
Right.
sure. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with what the team does, and if we pick a guy like this. But yeah, Danny Wolf, solid player. I don't know if he's going to be the best fit, but he's I respect his game.
Yeah, he's got, I think, of all the bigs that we've looked at, I like that Joe Ingles that you said. He has a little bit more off the dribble, a little bit more shot creation than maybe Kalkbrenner or Reynaud. The only thing that I'm not sure about this guy is he played the power forward position. So I'm not really sure if it's realistic for us to think of him playing the center, even though he's pretty much 7 foot tall and can do a little bit of shooting. And those guys are very intriguing to NBA teams. 7 foot guys who can spread the floor. I mean, who is that not intriguing to? Sounds good to me. You just see him there, like with the dribble. Like he's got some chops.
Picking up a guy like that,
Yeah, to put next to Wemby, but I think they also want like a big body center, and they want Wemby to play the 4. And with Paolo Banchero playing the 4, and Moritz already is kind of our undersized backup center, who really feels more like a power forward to me, anyways, but plays the 5 for us. I just don't know about the fit, but it gets back to really the question of the day for this 25th pick is, are you just getting the best guy available and seeing what happens? Are you drafting for fit? I mean, if we just made this big Desmond Bane move and those chips are in. So we've heard Jeff Weltman say it's winning time. You would think they're going to be looking more for fit this year than they have in previous years.
Yeah, and also with whatever they do next in free agency, you're going to need some cheap labor. We don't know what's going to happen with Caleb Houston. We keep talking about Mo, big brother Mo. I mean, I'm sure he's coming back, right? He's got to come back.
Oh, he's got to, baby.
By chance, if he doesn't, for some crazy reason that they don't come to terms on a renegotiating contract, I mean, he's out for a year, so half a year. You could take a pay cut. It could make sense. Big brother can throw in a couple mil off the top, and it'll be fine. Or younger brother could throw a couple mil. And he'll be fine. But if something happens there, it depends on what we're going to do. We're going to need some cheap labor to come in on a rookie contract. They can either score the ball in the guard spot because we don't have Kojo. We might lose Caleb Houston. We lost Cole. We lost KCP. So we have, like you mentioned earlier, we need another guard that's going to pick up maybe 15, 20 minutes a game. That's also depending. Does Anthony Black move into maybe he comes in as a 2, maybe he can still handle the ball. Maybe he can play the 3 if he gained a little bit more size and handle the ball and guard the 2 and guard the 3. So there's a lot of questions that I think we have for the second squad, and that's what's going to depend on who we draft. But yeah, either way, I'm excited, man. I think we got good Magic basketball on the way, and yeah, whoever we pick, man, is I'm glad to get a dog on the team. There's still some good solid picks at 25.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming through, Raf. I am really excited about this draft on Wednesday. I hope you're all geared up out there, second cousins. If you're still watching, you haven't liked and subscribed, what are you doing? Let us know in the comments. Who are you hoping or projecting that our Orlando Magic take? And I'm sure Peach and I will be on the other side of the draft to talk all about it with you beautiful people. All right, well, thanks again, Raf.
Hey, no problem, man. Have a great one. Go Magic.
Peace out, baby.